Hi there, Antonio here. I'm just calling ahead to make sure that I'm okay to shoot in the gym today, as I've been planning this for months and, crap.
So, yeah, plans have changed. I was gonna shoot this at my local gym, I had it all planned out and everything, but, that kicked in. But you know what? The show must go on, and the gains must never stop. What does Rocky say? It's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and get back up. So in the spirit of that, I opened up myself a home gym. I'm gonna get so strong. Rocky is one of my favourite movies of all time. An inspiring underdog story that I respect both as a filmmaker and as a fan of fitness. Rocky really is one of those films that help people get off their bums and lift a weight or two. Now, I'd be lying if I said the Rocky and Creed movies directly inspired me, but when I first got my arse into gear and lost some weight, I made a workout playlist, which is linked below if you wish to look at it, and the first few songs I added to the playlist and the name itself should give away that, yeah, okay, the Rocky movies did inspire me a little bit. Anyways, Rocky became a massive franchise, and what happens when you get a franchise? Commercialism. But more importantly for today, video games. The Rocky franchise has a wide variety of video games under its belt, dating all the way back to the Sega Master System. And since Rocky is one of my favourite films of all time, as we've discussed already, why don't we just go balls deep into the franchise and check out some of the video games? Now, movie tie-in games have a reputation around the gaming scene for being, well, shit. But with such a powerful name as Rocky, there's got to be at least one good game, right? Well, to start with, I picked up and played Rocky, released in 2002, developed by Rage Software. But in my research, I had found they made a sequel, released 2 years later under the name Venom Games. So, why don't we just skip Rocky 2002 and go straight to the sequel and see what that has to offer instead. Heads up though, this is emulated, so these are Ghost in the Shell looking bodies and virtual fighting shadows are because of emulation, not because of the game's faults. Like pretty much every fighting game in existence, Rocky Legends has a exhibition mode and an unlockable survivor mode, but unique to this game is a career mode where you can play through the stories of Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed, James Clubber Lang, and Ivan Drago. Here you play each character's rise to fame, all of which actually hold true to the canon of the Rocky story, apart from Drago's story, who, spoilers for Rocky 4, ends up beating Rocky at the end and goes back to Russia and is awarded a medal. Now that is an alternative ending I would love to see, thank you please. Gameplay wise, your 4 face buttons attack different areas of the body, while holding a direction on the D-pad allows you to modify the punch. Holding R1 and punching allows you to throw a more powerful punch. Movement is rather simple. Holding L1 allows you to duck and weave, while the left stick just moves you around normally. All in all, it's a rather simple boxing game with your typical stamina meter, which goes down depending on how many punches you throw and the type of punches you throw. But it does have a super meter, which once you fill it up, you can, well, you know, throw some nice heavy punches and maybe cause some inoperable brain damage. Unless, you know, they just retcon that down the line. I was really shocked to find out this game is actually really bloody hard, with myself failing the first Rocky fight 3 times on the trot, and that was after taking half an hour to train up on the solid mechanics of the game. So, I'm gonna be playing this on easy difficulty. There's no shame in that, right? Anyways, let's jump into the career mode, and here I picked Apollo, as I've always wanted to learn more about him, and I just kinda like him. Your character, no matter who you pick, starts out with low stats, and the gameplay swaps between matches to rise up a leaderboard, and training modes to improve your stats. Each campaign mode will take you around 2 to 3 hours to complete, which means if you really cared about the characters and their stories, you could get a nice amount of playtime out of the career mode here. Through playing this game though, it feels like, apart from a couple cutscenes and, you know, the license of Rocky, this could be any boxing game. At least in Rocky 2002, you could play through the stories of the first 5 movies, which is, you know, unique to the franchise. But this game's career mode feels wholly ununique besides the character models. To be fair to Venom Games though, I really do believe Ubisoft really pushed this game and they wanted to do it as fast as possible, so Venom Games just had to do what they could to get the game done fast. But that's just me spitballing here though, don't quote me on that. Back to the minigames quickly, they are quite fun once you understand the mechanics. As you can see here, I was doing dog shit to start with, but by the end I got the hang of it. During movie mode, you earn $, which can be used to purchase boxes, venues, and other goodies. I always enjoy earning something to go towards extras. I know it's a simple thing, but it's nice to complete a story mode, and then finally have enough money to buy that extra mode or character you saw when you first booted up the game. I feel this kind of reward system is kind of lost in today's era of gaming with DLC and season pass models. Fighting games in particular are really bad for this. I still haven't bought Tekken 7, an amazing fighting game, because they keep releasing paid content, and I just want to play the game, so so I'm just gonna wait for the complete package. I understand that if companies could have back then, they would have done DLC. I mean, heck, some companies did find ways around that. I remember Rock Band on the PS2 and Wii versions of Rock Band released DLC track packs. But when it's done right, I really do love having an in-game store. As you know, you get to see something you want and you can grind to get to it. But as I said, only if it's done right, and to be honest, only the 6th generation of games and back actually did this right. On the presentation front, graphics are largely fine, with music being a mix of covers of the classic tunes and then the classic tunes themselves. All in all, presentation is just okay across the board, and to be honest, it's just largely fine.
Hey Rocco, you fighting outside Mickey's tomorrow?
Yeah, I need the money, you know. Besides, I ain't got any straight fights lined up for another 8 weeks.
Really? I mean, I could do better than that.
Hey Rocco, you find outside Mickey's tomorrow?
Yeah, I need the money. Besides, I ain't got any fights lined up for the next 8 weeks.
Ugh, these backstreet brawls. They're bad for your brain. Makes you punchy.
Yeah, it don't bother me none.
Who you fighting?
It depends who shows up.
Well, whoever he is, punch his lungs out. I'm gonna have $50 riding on you.
Well, I gotta go, Paulie. Gazzo said he wanted to see me about a job.
Ask Garzo if he needs another collector. I'm not even confident in that. One little touch though I must say I like is that if someone's doing well in a fight, the score kicks in and actually does make the rest of the round really tense, as you're so close to knocking someone out or going down yourself, and the music just elevates the tension. So GG for Venom Games for that idea. Nice one, that was cool. Truth be told, after playing and researching both Rocky Legends and Rocky 2002, I think I made a mistake here and I should have played Rocky 2002 instead, as that game was built up from the ground and has like more care and detail into it, while this game is just a sequel building on what was already created to an okay effect. I mean, sure, the idea of finding out Apollo Creed's backstory is fun and all, but it's just climbing up a leaderboard with a few minigames spruced in. This really does nothing for me, especially after all the boxing games I've played in my life. Speaking of other boxing games, playing the Fight Night games before playing this game made it really hard for me to enjoy it as much as I could have. But you know what? If you've never played any of the Fight Night games and this game interests you, be sure to check this out because as licensed games go, it's not that bad, but maybe look at Rocky 2002 instead. As I said, I cannot knock the team's efforts at all. They really did try their best and I hope they went on to make something great afterwards. No matter what you do, people, do not deal with the devil. Moving away from consoles, we have Rocky Balboa on the PSP, developed by Ubisoft Montreal. You know, the devs of, say, Assassin's Creed 4, Far Cry 3, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and Naruto Rise of Ninja and the Broken Bonds? Holy shit! Okay, I'm ready now! Firstly, moving from a controller to a handheld, you'd expect the controls to be worse, right? Well, sort of. It's a bit odd to get used to and even odder to explain. When you're not near your opponent, you can move the thumbstick or nub as you would in any other game, but as soon as you're face to face with him ready to kiss, you enter like a combat phase and you then have to use the L bumper to move again and the stick just allows you to duck and weave. It's really weird. I mean, it's fine, but it was just odd to get used to at first. Besides that, the controls are rather simple. Get ready to button mash while watching your stamina meter just like in Rocky Legends, but this time there's no super meter. Well, that's how the game plays, but what do you actually do in the game? Like Rocky 2002, the one I skipped over, you're going through the story of the first 5 Rocky films, but now they included Rocky 6, Rocky Balboa, and this is all in a mode known as historical fights. You get to watch some clips before key fights in the franchise, which, although underwhelming now, having FMV on the PSP was a massive selling point, and I bet it would have been rather cool back then to, you know, watch the clips of the Rocky movies on your game, but if you just wanted to watch the movies, you could just get the UMD movies of the 6 films the game is retelling. Little tangent here, but one day I really want to talk about the UMD movie thing, as who doesn't want to talk about House of the Dead on the go?
Fuck yourself.
Anyways, I honestly don't like the historical fights, and it goes back to the gameplay. In, say, Fight Nights.
Oh, you're talking about Fight Night so much already. Just go and play that instead.
As I was saying, in Fight Night, a long battle can feel really tense as you have complete control over your fighter thanks to its great stick controls that were borrowed from the Tiger Woods games. Here, it's just an annoyance to try and go the distance. It's not helped by the fact that if you get knocked down, it's an absolute bloody pain to get up, unlike in Fight Night, which got the whole getting up thing right by not having it be as slippery as your mother when I mentioned the size of my Naruto collection to her. Sure, it's cool and all to do the old fights from the movies, but after playing Rocky 2002 and Rocky Legends where you could do that already, the appeal of being able to do that is drawn really thin by now. This feeling holds true in the exhibition mode as well, where, you know, you can pick fighters and fight them. What do you want? It's a fighting game. Go figure. This game does have one mode though that I really enjoyed, and that mode is called Fast Lane. Here you're given a variety of missions that have time limits that range from 1 minute to 10 minutes, and you're given a goal to complete. Some even have paper-thin story arcs delivered via text before a fight. I know that's really basic, but it's something, and it really fits the portable aspect of the game, even if the reward for beating opponents is a bit soul-piercing. If you're not versed in the series, this is an iconic song being butchered, and moving on. We've got a training mode here that serves its purpose, and finally, a multiplayer mode. Sadly, I am unable to find a single person at my local gym who wants to play this with me, and this mode has not been documented online at all. So if you ever did play Rocky Balboa on the PSP multiplayer, please comment below. I'd like to hear how it was. Lastly today we have Creed Rise to Glory, the game that actually made me want to make this video, as this game is actually pretty freaking sick. Creed Rise to Glory is a VR game made by Survios, a developer with a great track record with games such as Raw Data and Sprint Vector under their belts, with their next project at the time of this recording being a Walking Dead game. And I mention this as I want to publicly say good luck to them, as the history of Walking Dead games is a bit murky. This game is available on most VR headsets, including the Oculus Rift, the Quest, and the PSVR, with myself playing the PSVR version. However, I did give the Oculus Quest version a go as I have one, and yeah, it's an amazing port.
I've never seen that before.
But the PSVR version was great as well, with some alright graphics and a consistent frame rate. And I'll say this, the PS Move controllers, these little dildo looking motherfuckers, are actually good controllers for this game, and are not a hindrance, unlike in say other PC VR ports, such as Doom VFR or The Killing Floor, as they're made for games like this in my opinion. Plus, the little rubber balls on top give some nice protection if you hit anything in the room, including yourself. The story here in Creed Rise to Glory, take a guess, follows the story of the first Creed movie, but it follows it so loosely that I couldn't tell what the story was, and I've seen the movie twice. The story isn't the only thing borrowed from the films, as, big surprise, the official soundtrack is here as well, but I'm very, very grateful for this, as we get, the classic tunes, but we also get the new tunes for the Creed series that are, more hip-hop influence, which is really, really up my street. And having these two different scores contrast with each other added a nice bit of variety for the 90-minute story mode. Yes, the story mode is about 90 minutes, but I honestly don't mind its length at all, as there really is only one reason I love this game so much more than any of the other games we've talked about so far: the gameplay. Creed is a boxing game, plain and simple, and a boxing game holds itself well to the medium of VR in my opinion. As you know, 2 arms, 2 motion controllers, a want to punch someone in the face but not get in trouble, Bob's your uncle. In this game, you walk around by pressing the move buttons and swinging your arms, with circle and square on the controller being the quick turn. It sounds goofy and looks a bit goofy too, but honestly, after a few minutes you will get used to it and even abuse it a bit in game. As for fighting in this game, flailing your arms is not going to be an option here, unlike in say Thrill of the Fight on Oculus Quest, as there is a stamina meter. But there are ways to defend yourself. Guarding yourself by putting your controllers to your face is the way I recommend, as it's easy, but you can also dodge by ducking and weaving a punch, and if you do it right, you actually get a little bit of bullet time, which allows you to, get a clean punch in, which is pretty damn cool. But with a big headset on your face, I found it rather hard to do at times, so I stuck more to just guarding. One other thing you could do though, which is what I did often, and this goes back to me abusing the movement, you could quickly sprint to the other end of the ring and just take a quick breather and then run back. It's kind of cheating, but in a way I see it as just abusing the game's mechanics, like you would in say a speedrun. Actual fights are really tense for me, since the stamina meter is in the back of my mind constantly, since I just can't bitch slap him until he goes down, which I found really cool. I was actually being tactical with when I punched, and I really feel that makes this Rocky game more special than any Rocky game we have covered. Speaking of being special, this game was also quite special as each arm has a stamina meter, so you could maybe guard with one arm and punch with the other. It's almost like you're boxing smartly like a real fighter, and I really, really like that touch. The story mode has 2 parts to it. There's the part where you're fighting, as we mentioned before, and then there's the gym where you train for your next fights, like in Rocky Legends. I mean, I understand that, you're limited since it's a boxing game, but you'd think they'd be able to innovate a bit more with minigames, but whatever. Yes, you can be trained by Rocky Balboa himself, but,
Hey, you don't look so good. If you want to take the day off, we can always,
Yeah, he's pretty bad. But to go back to positives, I really, really like the gyms in this game that you get to go to. Sure, they're from the films and it's cool to explore them and all, but I love the feeling and the vibe they give off. The radio plays in the background, commenting on the fight you just had and the one you have to come in the story mode, and once they're done talking, the score quietly picks back up and you get like a really nice remix of Waiting for My Moment playing in the background. It's just so relaxing and really, really fun to just walk around and enjoy the mise en scène of the gyms.
Hey there, fight fans! Welcome to another round of The Distance with Nick and Travis. I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis.
I said it once and I'll say it again, I love the vibes these gyms give off so much, and although yes, you're doing exercise in the gym, I found the gyms so damn relaxing for me. Speaking of exercise, you get to take part in a variety of activities before your next fight in your own personal training montage with the music from the films. I understand I'm a broken record talking about music from the movies now, but it really did work here. Coupled with the fact that these minigames are actually really damn fun to do, these montages are an absolute joy to do every time you're forced to do one before a fight. How well you do in these montages will aid you in your next fight, and it's just a great way to psych yourself up to cause some irreparable brain damage to some poor soul. Oh wait, they've retconned that.
You made that joke already?
Oh yeah, sorry. The story mode itself is rather piss easy, apart from the final fight, so I'd recommend a second go through on the champion difficulty. That added a bunch of challenge and I found that so much more fun, and it aided towards my platinum trophy. Yes, PlayStation users, if you love your platinums and have a PSVR headset, this is a rather easy platinum to go for. I am in no way a trophy hunter, but I saw when I beat the game twice, I only had one more trophy to get, so I just went, screw it, I'm gonna go and get it. Anyways, once you've beaten the story mode, what have you got left? Well, you can go around the gyms and do the mini games and try and go for high scores. They're pretty fun. You can battle it out in free play as both characters from this game, but also characters that were added later in a patch when Creed 2 came out, such as Ivan Drago and Rocky. Finally, you've got an online mode, which I played once and got my ass smashed beyond belief to the point where the guy was dancing in front of me as I was standing back up, but it played really, really well. This is a VR boxing game, so do you get a good workout? Well, yeah. When I played this game, I did a couple 2-hour sessions, and when I was done, I was dripping with sweat when I took the headset off, and I really needed a shower. Although, the sweat, I don't know if it was from the game or from the shame of what I did earlier in the day with the headset on. Yeah, I'm not quite sure there.
Leave!
All in all, a pretty dang great game in my opinion, licensed game or not. The original price is a bit steep in my opinion of around £25 British, but I picked this up in a sale and got it for £8 and I was more than satisfied with my purchase. And out of all the games we've covered today, this is the best one bar none, and as I said, it's good despite being a licensed game.
Whew, I am all Rockied out, and I believe Creed Rise to Glory is a great way to end this episode. You know what I realised though during this recording? This is a good game, do not get me wrong. But the last great boxing game we got was in 2011. Fight Night Champion by EA. Are you kidding me? EA. They churn out NBA Lives, FIFAs, NHLs, Maddens every damn year. And yet, one boxing game last decade. Are you kidding me? It's a shame as well because I love that game so damn much and I believe it looks pretty damn nice today. So imagine a new Fight Night on the Series X or the PlayStation 5. Oh my bloody god. You know what? I'm going to play Fight Night Champion right now. Goodbye.
Halfway through the 7th round.
There's no joke here.